the thing is, you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. to work out. You also don't have to do it at 8 p.m. or something. You know what? You don't have to do it at all. But if you want to be healthy and you actually, that's maybe your New Year's resolution, that you want to work out more or work out at least a little bit, then you do have to find the time to do it. And that's going to be based on your schedule. So I feel like you watch some videos of people telling you why it's best to work out first thing in the morning. I prefer, honestly, working out first thing in the morning, and I'll tell you why. Other people just prefer their after work workouts, and that's all good. It's all fine. Honestly, if everybody was working out at the same time, it would just be a completely busy gym, and that would not be very nice. Honestly, that's why I don't like working out after work, because most people go there. So irrespective of which gym I'm going to, I feel like it's just always super busy, super crowded, and people take too long and are not as considerate, I notice. So they kind of just take sometimes multiple benches and things like that. And it could happen at any time, but the more people there are, the more likely I'm going to see people doing those things. So I personally don't like working out after work because it makes working out more difficult for me in two ways. One, like I mentioned, because it's so busy, so then I have to wait for my equipment. My workouts take longer. I'm feeling uncomfortable because there's just so many, it's just so crowded around me. But another reason is that I have so much time to think about why I don't have to work out today, or I don't want to work out today, or what other things I have to do and how tired I am. So it takes me the whole day until the 5 p.m. that I go to work out to think of excuses as to why I don't have to. Whereas for me, if I just wake up and go work out, before I can even think about all the excuses, I'm there. I'm working out. Now, it's a little different recently because if your gym is really close to your place, that happens like that. You just wake up, put on your clothes, or sleep with your clothes if you want, and just go and get there. But recently, because I start working at 7 a.m., and the gym that I go to closer to my place opens at 6. I don't have time to go to the gym there and then drive 30 minutes to my work. But fortunately, my office has a gym. So that's what I use. It's not too many people there either. But then I have to wake up and leave my place around like 5:30, 5:40 to get here around 6 to work out for around 15 minutes. Quickly shower and stuff to give like 45-50 minutes. I usually try to give myself around 15 minutes, then shower. There are showers there, everything, to get ready, and I'm like right here at the office. Again, super convenient. Not everybody has this option, but at the same time I do have to drive around 25 minutes to get here. So waking up, and now I have to think, oh, I can't just immediately start working out. I do have to drive somewhere to work out. And when it's minus 28 like it was yesterday in Canadian winter here, it's not easy. Let me tell you that it's not easy. But when I try to rely on motivation, I notice that it never works. So I will miss so many days of like maybe instead of working out 4 times a week like I usually do, I will end up working out twice a week, 3 times a week, sometimes just once, and just having excuses. Another thing that always gave me excuses is when I worked out whenever I said I found the time, or whenever I will find the time. So I'll just like figure it out as I go. Never worked for me. Because again, I would find myself not being consistent because I had to think too much about it. So my number one advice, if you take one thing from this video, is to give yourself as little choice, as little option than you can to get it done. Add it in your schedule, stick to that schedule, stick to that calendar as much as possible, and just go when your calendar tells you you have to go. So again, do make a plan based on what works best for you. If that's in the morning, if that's like just before bed, if right after work, if there's no other option, plan it out first for yourself and your schedule. But once it's in your calendar, just stick to it. Don't give yourself that much option. And again, I would recommend going either like first thing in the morning, or like, as early, I guess, as you can, so that you're not spending the whole day thinking of excuses as to why you don't have to go. Now that it's in my calendar, now that I have all the days laid out of like, okay, let's just say Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, I have to go to the gym at that time. It's there. I will go. I will get there. If something happens on one day, obviously, like life does happen on those rare occasions. Sure, change things around. Like it's fine. It's your schedule. But don't just change things around for no reason whatsoever. Don't give yourself that much. What am I trying to say? I guess make yourself more important than that. Like it's as if you had an appointment with somebody. How many times, if you had even an appointment with like a friend, if you had to meet a friend, how many times would you reschedule until that friend is like, you know what, that's not working. You clearly, this is not a priority for you. So your health is the same thing. Like you make an appointment with yourself and stick to it as much as possible. If you have to reschedule in 1 week or another, that's fine. If it has to take you a couple of weeks to even get the hang of it, that's okay too. But at least strive towards making that commitment, that appointment to yourself on a regular basis. One last thing is don't start with just 5 days a week. Start with something that you know you can do for a certain amount of weeks first. And I know it's the new year, so you want to just jump straight in. But what happens if you try to do too much at once? You'll just burn out, or you'll just, like, motivation will fade one way or another. So what you want to do is to make sure that while you have your motivation, use it, but you really want to be building the habit so that by the time the motivation is no longer there, well, at least you have the discipline for it. You have the habit built. So I will say, start with maybe 2 days a week, like even 1 day a week, just do the bare minimum of what you can, but be consistent with that. Now, you could give yourself a minimum and not a maximum, but like a best case scenario. So you could say, if you want to work out 3 times a week, or 4, don't do it every day, but let's just say 3 or 4 times a week. If that's what you really want to do, you don't want to start with 2. Okay, 3 to 4 times a week, whatever. That's your best case. But on the weeks that you cannot achieve your best case, don't let it be a complete fail. Give yourself another, like, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, I will work out once a week. So that's your minimum that you have to achieve. Even if it's kind of completely storming outside, like you can't go out the whole week, at least you do some, like a workout at home or something. Like you have to do at least once a week, and then your best case scenario would be 3 or 4 times a week. So you can stick with that, and then after, maybe you can increase your minimum to make it 2 times a week or 3 times a week, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just leave it at having a minimum of 1 or 2 times a week of working out. However that may be, you don't have to be strict on the type of workouts that you do, especially if you're not working out at all right now. Just, try different things out. And then, increase your best case scenario or your normal scenario for it, I guess. So that was a little bit, like, super quick video, but that was my today's video about just little snippets from what I learned and what I can share. I'm still trying to figure out what is the best type of content that I can offer on the other days when I'm not crafting at home. And at the moment, I'm thinking probably health and fitness. A lot of it is, I learned a lot about those, so I could teach about that, or I'm sure I'll get other things in the meantime that come to me that I want to share. Some motivation content and things like that. But if you do have something that you want to learn from me, just let me know and I'd be happy to make a video about it. Again, those videos are super short. Maybe it's going to be like 10-15 minute videos on a regular, and then 1 to 3 times a week. Again, my minimum would be once a week. In that case, I will make a longer video, and then once a week I will make a longer podcast episode. That was totally unscripted. I just sat down there and filmed that video because I wanted to get something out today that is of value to you, and that's something that I had in mind that I wanted to talk about. So I hope you liked it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.